So you're probably wondering why I'm sitting on my couch and we're going to talk about squatting technique video, but I recorded a video today while I was doing my leg workout and you couldn't hear the audio, so I'm going to go ahead and talk over everything I was talking about and just shoot in some of the clips that I recorded from over there. So if I'm looking like an idiot in the clips when you're looking at it, you'll know why. But there's a couple things about squatting technique for baseball players, and I just want to go over it real quick and start from the top and go down. The first thing you got to think about is when you're setting up your bar. You want to set up your pins to where it's just above your shoulder level, or excuse me, just below your shoulder level. So when you're lifting up, when you get up under there and lift up, you're at, you know, you're flat footed and you can walk in and out and put the weight down. The reason we do this is because if you've got a lot of weight, it's hard to get that extra inch when you got that you know, a lot of weight on there and you're trying to rack it up. So put it just underneath your shoulders, so you can, when you're standing flat footed, you can walk in and out and put the weight down. In the video you'll see my pins are really low, but I was working out with another guy, and when you're doing that, when you're working out with another guy or a couple people, you want to put the pins on the lowest, you know, just below the lowest person's shoulders. This way everyone has it, you know, easy going in and out. So that's the first thing. Second thing is where you set the bar. Okay, if you set the bar on, I got a video here. You want to set it on your traps. You don't want to roll it up on your neck as you see here in the video. There's a nice spot on your back there where you just put it and it feels real comfortable. So you won't need the sissy pad or whatever they call that. And if it is hurting you, you know, you got to work your back out a little more. So it's tough and it can handle the weight on there. But you'll get a feel for it. Just make sure it's not too high up on your neck, because that could you know, hurt you know. It definitely hurts if you get it up there too high, and roll around on them bones up there in your spine, and it doesn't feel good. So get it set down there right on your traps, and you'll be good to go there. The next thing you got to know, if we're working from top to bottom, is the grip. How guys grip the bar. Some guys will grip the bar way out here, and they'll wrap their arms around it, almost touching the weights. I don't recommend that. Other guys are pretty wide. I actually get my fingers, I put my middle fingers in between the two grips. There's usually two grips. The bar is clear, shiny here, and then it's got some grip here, and then there's a tiny little piece that's shiny here, and then there's more grip, and I think it goes all the way out to the end like that. And I take my middle fingers and I put it right on the two shiny pieces. It's a little bit further than shoulder width. It's probably right around here, and that's where I set the bar. And the reason I like that is because it promotes your shoulders being flexible. If you're you know, if you're way out there, you don't have to be that flexible. Some people say this is not good because you can hurt yourself like that, but I think it's good for two reasons. One, because you know, you have to be flexible to do this, so if you can't do it, you're gonna have to flex your shoulder or stretch your shoulder. So make sure you're stretch. If it's hurting you, don't do it. But if it just feels tight, then make sure you're stretching your shoulder before you're doing that. The other reason I like to do it here is because it makes it easier for you to have the proper get into the proper position. And what I like to think about, or what some guys teach, is to point the elbows down. And if you do that, that kind of opens up the chest, which brings me to my next point, is keeping your chest up and your eyes up. That pointing the elbows down will help you do that. Keep the chest up, keep the eyes up. Now you want to keep your I don't really keep my eyes up. I like to keep them level. I don't know, I just think looking up feels weird to me. It pinches in my back, in my neck here, so I look level. So I tell my guys either look level or look up, but I think level is okay. Just don't look down, because what happens when you look down, you'll see here in this video, you have the tendency to fall forward, and that's not good. You'll be using your calves and your quads to push up and come up on and usually most likely come up on your toes. So you don't want to do that. The next thing is the actual squat. This is where the biggest problem comes into play. Guys aren't going down low enough. They'll go, as you see in this video here, they'll just go down a little bit. They'll throw a bunch of weight on there, go down a little bit, and then come right back up. Now, this is not what you want to do. You want to go, you hear all the time, go down to parallel, go down to parallel. But what is parallel? You know, I've heard go down to parallel my whole life, or my whole lifting time, I guess, since I was about 15 years old. But I never really knew what parallel was. I didn't start doing squats right until I was in college. But parallel to me is, I've got a video here of almost parallel, so I'll show you that. That's right here. And I've got the next clip is too far parallel, and you can see the backgrounding and just going way too far. So to me, parallel, as you see in this video, is where the top of your leg, not the bottom of your leg, is parallel to the ground, because the bottom of your leg is angled down. So for you to be parallel there is you're actually going to be higher up. So you want the top of your leg, your quad, to be parallel to the ground, as you see here in this video. Obviously, it's hard for me at least, to keep my weight forward when I don't have any weight on my back. Now, you don't want to keep your weight forward, but when you don't have any weight, and I just got done doing a squat exercise, it was hard for me to stay balanced. But that's where you want to be, the top of your leg being parallel to the ground there. The other thing, as we're getting down to the legs, is you'll see guys with their legs coming inward. One leg will go inward as they're coming up, or the other leg, or even both legs. You want to try to keep your legs you know, strong and straight as you're going up. So you don't want your knees to buckle in. You know, that's probably the biggest thing that you see young guys squatting, is their knees buckling in, and that just means their hips are a little bit weak on one side or the other. So you can do some hip exercises, the Jane Fonda stuff like that. That'll work. But I think even more importantly is probably just stretching everything out, because sometimes it could be just because they're tight and not weak. They're weak because they're tight. So that's stretching is a big part of it too. The way I like to stand with my feet on the ground is just slightly out, as you can see here in the video, a little bit wider, or a little bit closer than shoulder width apart, and that's just because that's what feels most powerful to me. I like that position. I feel good there. That's my natural position, and I think you should go with your natural foot setting. As far as, you know, when you're coming up with your weight, you want your weight to be on your heels. You want your toe, you know, you want to be able to wiggle your toes if you can as you're coming. Obviously, you don't want to do that while you're squatting, but that's how it should feel. You should be able to wiggle your toes as you're squatting up. That your weight should be on your heels. You shouldn't be rocking out on the sides of your feet or the inside of your feet. You should be solid on the ground, driving up through your heels. So, and now let's take a look at the example of me doing the squat, so you can see the technique that I'm talking about in real time. The main thing here, again, guys, is just to you know, get far enough down with using the proper mechanics or proper technique, keeping that chest up, keeping the weight back, keeping the eyes up, keeping the elbows down. All these things will help each other out. But the main thing is getting down there and coming up, driving through the heels, really feeling it in the glutes, you know, in the back of the leg and the butt, and the hamstrings. That's what you're doing the squats for. Obviously, abs, you know, you're keeping your abs stabilized. Another thing is, or the main thing is about getting down that low is really, there's a point that you get down to, and it feels like if you go any lower than that, it feels like you're going to lose the weight, like you're not going to be able to get back up. But I really believe that that's psychological, and I believe that once you try it a few times without any weight, you're going to be able to, you know, realize that you can go past that and you can get up fine. And I'd say try doing it with no weight, and then slowly getting up with very little weight. When I learned how to do this in college, the proper squat, we did probably for a month working on technique without any significant weight, some very light weight. And like I said, it's very psychological. Once you get that feeling to where you know that you can go down and come back up, past that breaking point there, let your hips go and get down to that point and come back up and be fine, then you're golden from there. You could probably lift just as much weight. I personally think it's easier once you get that in your head to go down that far and come back up. It's like it's breaking them hips and coming back up. I don't know, for some reason once you get past that point and coming back up is easier instead of slowly stopping at that point and then coming back up. I think that's tough. But the squats that I just did in the video, I'll show them again here. It's a little fast. I'm doing them a little quick. You typically want to be take about 2 or 3 seconds going down and 2 or 3 seconds coming up. You know, you would think you want to explode up, but when you're getting hot, even with lightweight, you know, if you're trying to explode up, you know that's bad on the knees. And definitely with the heavyweight, you know, you don't want to try to explode up. It's a push. It's a press. You know, you got the weight on your heels and you're pushing up, and that's where you're focusing on, you know, that solid base. So for pitchers and hitters and infielders, outfielders, catchers especially, you got that solid base and you're just strong. And it's definitely going to play a part in your speed and agility and stuff. Not directly, but in a roundabout way, just being overall in good shape. So the squat is a great exercise for baseball players, especially if you are using the right mechanics. And you know, really getting down there. So I hope this video helps. The main point, I guess, of this video is to do them right and to get down there and do them right, I guess. So you know, be careful. Well, like I said, try it with some really lightweight and then go up from there. But let me know how it goes, and let me know how sore you get. I bet it's pretty sore. You're gonna be having a hard time walking for about a week when you first start this, I promise. But good luck, guys.